Basically, anytime you're trading, there is risk involved, and you should never trade with money you cannot afford to lose. So before we get started at 10 a.m., I would like you to read over the disclaimer. At no time should you construe anything in this room as trading advice. I am here to teach you and show you how the Traders Help Desk indicators work and the potential setups. But remember, they are potential. We are trading probabilities, and sometimes probabilities do not work out as we anticipate, but that's all part of trading. Now, again, we'll get started in about 3 minutes. I just wanted to make sure everybody had been able to read the disclaimer, and I'll be back in about 3 minutes. Okay, now that everybody's had time to read the disclaimer, we are going to get started. Now, I do want to go over the Forex real quick. And this is kind of my view on Forex. The first thing that I look at is the meter, and you can see there is nothing that is overextended to the downside or overextended to the upside. To me, that's substantial because it tells me I'm probably going to be trend trading today. Okay. In other words, anytime price pulls back to the ATR like it did here or like it did here, that would be an entry into the trend to the downside. And that is simply because there is nothing saying this market is overextended at the moment. Does everybody understand that? So if you go to the Aussie, and this is for the 60-minute, you can see up here it's telling you it's a 60-minute chart. You can see that you had an entry here. You could have also entered at this line of congestion dots, because what happens when price approaches the congestion dots and it does not break the congestion dots? Typical behavior is that it will go back up, especially because you're going into this 60-minute time frame. Okay, pretty much the same thing with the euro dollar. Okay, so anytime You see these yellow crosses here. It tells me I'm close enough to go ahead and take a trade. So there was a trade here, and I went out of the money on that earlier today at 17.90 using a binary. So when it approached the ATR, I went in the binary at 17.90. Now, do know that that one made money. Then you had another opportunity over here to do the same thing, okay? On the British pound dollar, again, pretty much the same thing. You had an opportunity here and an opportunity here, just really going into this higher time frame. Let's look at the USD CAD. Okay, this is a downtrend. See how you have yellow crosses here? That's telling you you're close enough to take a trade to the downside. And I can already tell I'm going into that 60-minute chart. Okay, let's go look at the USD Swiss franc. Same thing. You see your red. Here's your entry. Any of these areas here could also have been an entry. Does everybody understand that? Okay, on the USD yen, sorry about that. Of course, you've had two entries here and here. Again, simply going into this downtrend. Okay, and I mean, to me, this is the easy way to tell, okay, I can't counter trend trade today because I'm not overextended. I've got to go with the trend. Okay, any questions about that? To me, it's very visual. If it's above the blue line or below the light blue line, then I know I'm probably going to be counter trend trading. But given the current situations, you're better off just to trend trade because there's no extreme conditions. Anytime you're approaching an area that may support or resist price, normally you're going to be overextended on this meter, okay? The fact that we're not overextended, your best bet is what? Trend trade it. Okay, now let's go over and let's look at the indices. Now, the NASDAQ is actually doing exactly what I anticipated it to do. You had a stochastics that's 86 on the 45-minute. I anticipated it would go down this morning, and it has. The Dow is going to come down, I think. It's likely that it will, okay? Only because we've had a wide bar. What do wide bars typically do? They typically retrace, okay? Now, when you add to that the fact that we're overextended on our higher time frame, this is at 92, we're at 83 on the next time frame, more than likely this is going to come down, okay? That's what I would be anticipating. Everybody understand that? Now, until NinjaTrader comes out with its next update, I cannot show you the meter in NinjaTrader because the templates are not working. I have to wait until the next release of NinjaTrader. So, but I do have a meter that does work in NinjaTrader. I just wanted to point that out to everyone. Charles, I think you sent me an email about it. And when they did it's build 0.09, it broke all of the templates in the market analyzers. So either you can downgrade, which means you have to uninstall and reinstall everything, or you just wait for them to come out with the next release, which is what I'm waiting on. Now, how would I enter this downtrend on the Dow? You know, one of the easiest ways would be, in this case, it would be to find a spread. And let's see, erase that. And we can go to the indices spreads because this is counter trend trading. So I would check the 9 to 11. Okay, price is trading at 777. So you could 777, it would be this one. Okay, so you could get that for $9 of risk. Okay, and that's per contract. And well, I'm gonna have to do 15 to get into it, maybe. There we go. Okay, now why would I choose a spread? Anyone know? Well, if you go and you look at the binaries, and let's go to Wall Street, 9 to 11, 762, that would be here. So you're counter trend trading, and it's going to be $34 in risk, okay? And let's change it. Let's see if we can get in here. Okay, maybe, nope. Okay, so the binary, which is this one, has 37.50 in risk, okay? In your counter trend trading, all right? On the spread, we had what? $15 of risk? Does everybody understand that? In your counter trend trading, okay? Now, which one has the most profit potential? It's probably going to be the binary, okay? The spread will probably make money, okay? Will it make, $65? Probably not, because it's going to have to move 65 points, okay? But you're counter trend trading, okay? So you want to choose the lower risk option anytime you're counter trend trading. And here's another way to look at it. Let me pull this over real quick. All right, this has the potential to come down here to 22,731, which is the ATR. What may stop it? 22,750. Well, if you notice, you're right at that area over here on the binary. Okay? So your strike price over here is 22,753, but if it comes down here to 22,731 within the next 49 minutes, the spread actually had the better risk to reward ratio. Does everybody understand that or no? And let me just kind of write it up for you, okay? So on the spread, you're risking $15, okay? And you have the potential of making 730 to 760, 30. Do y'all see that? Yes or no? Okay. You entered at 760. Okay. That was your entry price, Charles. Okay. Sorry, I can't write real good with the mouse, but you have the potential to come down to 730. Okay. So what's the difference? 30. Okay. So in other words, you're doing a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio. Now, let's say that it only comes to the 750 area, okay? All right, on the binary, you're going to pay $35, okay? And if it gets to the 750 area, that's going to be about $15 in profit. Because what happens when price comes down to 751? That's going to be at the money, right? So your premium price is going to be 50. Now, if it comes all the way down to 731 and you hold it and it expires less than 751, then yes, you might have room to make a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio. Maybe. And that means it has to actually expire below the 751 area. Do you understand that, Charles? And I generally do not hold for expiration. So this would be a tough one to actually make double your risk. You would be just under the 1 to 2 if you held until expiration. Because you had, well, actually, by the time we got in, we had almost $40 of risk. So there's no chance of making a 1 to 2. You can make maybe 1 to 1.5 would be the max. Because to double your risk would be $80 in profit. It would have to pay out 120, and it's not going to pay out 120. It can only pay out 100. Do you understand that now, Charles? Now let's go and the NASDAQ did exactly what I thought it would do this morning. And again, it's because you had overextended on your next higher time frame. The Dow is a little bit lagging, but it will still do it, more than likely. Now, this is your problem. You're approaching this ATR right here. And it's going to have to flip this ATR, okay? And the 3 minutes already showing you that it's overextended on the 3 minute. Okay, I want to go look at something real quick. All right. This one, I'm going to enter and then I'm going to explain it to you. Okay, this is the Euro British Pound, and it does not move a lot during the U.S. session. Does everybody understand that? But do you see how you're at the ATR here? Does everybody see that? So I think this is going to go down, okay? And you don't get these very often, okay? Do you see how going to 89.40, which is 7 pips from where price is currently trading, you're out until 3 p.m.? What was the cost of that trade? 20 bucks. The profit potential is 80, but your risk is 20. Does everybody understand that? They don't come along very often. I just happened to notice that it was at the ATR. Now, realistically, let's say that you hold that until expiration. What is your risk to reward? It's 1 to 4. In other words, for every dollar of risk, you're going to have $4 as a reward. Yes, that's exactly why I chose the 3 p.m. because, yes, it can move 7 pips in the next 4.5 hours. Okay? It doesn't move a lot. Okay? But to me, this would be worth it. Now, again, I do not hold until expiration. So what I do on these is I go in and I go ahead and set a target. And for example, I could put a $20 target on this. Okay? I don't have to worry about it for the rest of the day. Now, look at your binary. Okay? You're basically doing a 1-to-1 risk to reward. Now, look at the spread. You have a 1-to-2. This is what trading is about. It's about being able to calculate this risk to reward on the live edge of the market. It's being able to say which one is going to give me the better risk to reward ratio. Do y'all understand? Any questions on that? Okay. Now on this one, you should have taken profits because it might bounce up from that ATR. Does it? Okay, I'm sorry about that, guys. My dogs were barking, so I had to put them outside. Charles, I agree. When you're hitting an ATR, I take profits because you don't know if it's going to continue down or not. Now, if it is getting to the point, but it may have one more bar before it actually comes down on the 180. Does that make sense to you, Charles? Now, and this is something, I really like to highlight, because if you're stuck on these numbers, you think, oh man, the binary is making more money. Yes and no. Because when you're comparing risk to reward, actually this one is the better one. Do y'all understand that now? And to me, it is all about numbers. As long as I can skew the numbers in my favor, then I will come out a winner in trading. And that's what you're doing. You're skewing the numbers in your favor. Okay? That's all we're doing. Any questions so far? That is exactly right, Charles. You can always multiply your number of contracts. It's a great example on this one here. You're looking at it and say, oh, $19 ain't much. Multiply it by 10 contracts. It's better. Multiply it by 20 contracts. It gets better. Always look at your risk to reward. That's the most important number on your screen. Now, why did I think that this would go down at the opening? Market is overextended, you know. When the market is overextended, more than likely it will go down. That's really about as simplistic as it gets. Now, this one is going to retrace back more than likely to about 60.69. So would I take a short when this gets back to 60.69? No. Okay, why wouldn't I? Because I trade higher time frames. We're at a congestion dot. We're at an ATR. That is not the best place to take a short. Okay? It truly is not. I would be more inclined if this was to hit the ATR and it was overextended, then I may take another short position. But as it stands right now, no. Mm-mm. Just trying to see if there's anything else on the Forex side to look at. And I'm actually not seeing it at the moment. The euro should retrace again, but it's not there yet. The British pound dollar should retrace, but it hasn't done it yet. Actually, right now, the best trade on Forex we're already in, which is the one on the euro British pound, but that's until 3 p.m. today. So we'll just watch this one. And, well, I'll move this one back over. So actually, the best trades we're already in. On the USD JPY, sure. We're not at an ATR. And I think by the time this starts a retracement, you may be overextended over here, Charles. I mean, if I was close to it, you know, like I was over here, I actually took this one on a spread this morning. And this was a nice one. I think my entry price was 30 or 35 on the spread to the downside for a 10 a.m. expiration. And that one did make money. But now, I mean, you're in no man's land right now. There's no trade there. I'll show you something I'm working on, and it might make more sense to you. It might confuse the hell out of you too. This is an ATR support and resistance, okay? So what happens is it comes back, it touches this ATR, then it will come here, okay? Then it'll come back to this ATR, and then it'll come here. On the euro, I can show it to you too. Okay, so you move up, you come back, and see how it's testing the white areas. Then it goes up again, and then it comes back to test the white areas, and then the white areas. Now, when is it in no man's land? Oh, let me find one, I'll show you. If I can. That has a good example previously. You see here where they're split, you've got one on the bottom and one on the top. The only way you can trade that, Charles, is from the bottom to the top, back to the bottom, back to the top. Let's see, the euro yen. Yeah, it is like a channel because the ATRs do work like channels. This one should come down to 132.18. That's what I would anticipate. Let's look at the British pound. It might take a while because I hadn't loaded it on this one. You see how it went back and tested the ATR? It's going to come back down to this one. It's the same thing I've been telling you, and this is what it's doing. Is actually plotting all of the ATRs from all of the higher time frames. That's what it's doing. So this is the 15-minute. This is the 60. This is the 240. Yeah, I've got all the time frames loaded on here. See, this is the US CAD. You can see it goes up, test it here, test it here. It's going to come down to here, goes back and test, then goes to the next one. It's almost like reading waves. It's the only way I can explain it. It's really cool, though. I've improved my trading just having that on the chart. So you come here, then you come here, then down to here, comes back to test again, then comes down to here. This is very similar to what I traded on the USD JPY this morning. It does take a while to load because it's so much data that it's loading. But do you see how you've got the red, the blue, the blue, the white, the white? Okay, so I knew it was going to come down to at least here. And I actually took profits on my spread there. And if we go to the Euro British Pound, let's see if it will load. Yeah. So you see how this has come up to the blue ATRs. So I'm expecting it to come back down to here. Remember, our strike price is at 40. So if that comes back down to here, we'll make our profit target. This one, you just have to give time to. And do you see how it's come back to this white line here? I'm expecting it actually to come back to the ATR because it needs a stronger pullback to push it up higher. Again, if you're looking at it from a risk to reward point of view, this one is about 1.5. This one is almost 1.2. Another $2 and it'll have 1.2. Exactly, Charles. If you're paying attention to risk to reward, okay, you don't have to be the world's greatest trader to make money. You just have to pay attention to risk to reward. And you stop stressing so much too. You know, I know a lot of people, especially new traders, they're, always interested, oh, can I make, 85% accuracy rate? You're a new trader. I would say no. I mean, I've been doing this for 15 years and I cannot consistently do 85%. I might have a week where I do 100%, but damn, the next week I'm down to 30%. Okay, it's the way the market is. It is the way probabilities work. Okay, shoot for 50, 55. Okay, if you can consistently, day in and day out, do a 50 to 55, then you're going to make money. Yeah, the ATR support and resistance is my own indicator. It is going to be available for purchase, Al. I just haven't put it up for sale yet. I would say probably this week or next. I've got to tweak it just a little bit. And then I was debating on whether I wanted to display it like I have it. But, I mean, I have to display it that way because I think otherwise it's not going to make sense to you. It is an awesome indicator. I will say that. It tells me exactly when not to trade. Let me see. Where is it? Here, where you have the Dow and the NASDAQ. When it's like this, I know more than likely you don't want to be trading. Yeah, the same thing over here. You want them to line up, is what I'm trying to say. And I knew that it would come back and test this area when I started looking at the charts this morning. In fact, I was expecting it to do exactly what the NASDAQ did. And this is just the stochastics on a higher time frame. I was going to do the stochastics like I did the ATR, but I didn't like it, so I didn't do it. But I can tell you exactly when I don't want to trade the indices or even currency pair now. Let me see. When was it? This was, I'm looking for the 9th, I think. So that one. This was what I saw yesterday when I opened my charts on the NASDAQ, and I just worked around the house. I didn't even bother with it because from here to here, there was not enough room to make money. You know, you didn't have enough room for the binary to move because by the time this went up and tested that and closed, you had from here to here. That's not enough room to make money. And I just left. I didn't even trade. I do have to program it for a NinjaTrader. I haven't done that yet. I saw a comment that one of your customers is using Renko bars with your indicator. Will your indicators work on different types of bars besides minutes? It will. With the Renko, with the range bars, some of the indicators will not work, like the ADX will not work. It won't plot correctly, in my opinion. Let me just bring up one and show you. Let's do the NASDAQ. That's good. So this is your Renko on the NASDAQ. It's a 2-point block. And we'll add the indicators. So you can see that the ATR and all still plots, your congestion dots still plots. You know, what you're not seeing is the high and low of the bar, okay? Now let me add some of the other indicators and you'll see what I mean, Bonnie. Okay, so you can see that the stochastics looks exactly like it should. And you can see that you had divergence over here. You can see that your volume indicator is working. What's not going to work very well is the ADX. Okay. In the Renko, the range, they're very similar. You can do it with tick charts. You know, I like using a minute chart because I want to know exactly when that bar is going to end. And of course, you can't tell that with tick or Renko or range. Does that answer your question, Bonnie? And a lot of people will combine the range with a minute or the Renko with a minute. A lot of my traders do that. It's just about timing, that's all. Yeah, you know, and if you're using a Renko or a tick or a range chart, most people do have a minute chart up and they're using that Renko or that range just to time their entry. You know, I just use a lower time frame to time it. There's not a lot of difference though. Any other questions while we're waiting on this one? Yes, Al. Or you can send me an email. Al, which trading platform do you use? Okay, it's probably going to be about 2 weeks because I've got to get my programmer to work on it. Do you do NinjaTrader 8? Because I won't do it for NinjaTrader 7. It's exactly the same entries, Pete. You know, I don't care whether I'm trading binaries or spreads or the futures, okay? My entry will always be at an ATR because that's what I trade. I trade ATRs. You know, in this case, I knew that we were overextended and that more than likely it would come down. The package that I have for NT7 does not include the stochastics. That is only available for NinjaTrader 8. Because everyone is moving over to 8, I've opted not to program my new indicators for 7. And Al, that would go for you too. I would do it for 8, but not for 7. And the other thing is for those of you that are using NinjaTrader, let me bring this up so I can tell you correctly about the 8.09 version has broken the templates in the market analyzer. They are working on it to fix it, but it will not be released until the next upgrade. So you do have the ability to downgrade to build 8.08. Okay. What you have to do is, let me go here. And you go to download. When you go to download, you have to put in your license key. And I'm just going to copy mine and put it in there and show you. So it will say select your NinjaTrader version. You select NinjaTrader 8. Do you see where it says prior release 8.08? That's the one that you would download and install. You will need to remove the 8.09 version. Then all of your templates will work. But if you leave it at 8.09, it breaks all of that. Again, they are working on it. And eventually they'll have it fixed and everything will be great. But we're waiting on that. And I do have templates for build 8.08, and they work really good. So that when you bring up a chart, you just apply the template and it sets everything up like my charts. We have about 3 minutes until this expires. If you notice, remember the Euro British Pound? We're 2 pips away from our strike. And that still has plenty of time to continue working as well. Hi, Pete. Yes, I am recording it, and I'll post it on my blog later today. No problem, Peter. Okay, the binary on the Dow expired in the money. So in this case, both of those made money. We did have the opportunity to take profits on the spread at one. It was a little bit over 1 to 2. And I think we made maybe about 1 to 1.5, 1.75 on the binary. Okay. And I do think we had the best trades on that. I'm not seeing anything else right now that I would want to enter. Don't want to take a short position because we're at ATRs over here. We're at a congestion dot over here. It's not real conducive to take a trade on them right now. So again, I think the best trades that we had, we actually did this morning. Any questions? Because I'm actually finished for the morning. All right, as I said, it was the webinar was recorded this morning. It's pretty easy trades in my opinion, but I've been doing it for a long time, so that kind of skews my perception. Okay, I will post the video later today so y'all can see it and go back and review it. And of course, if you have any questions, you can always email me at gm@tradershelpdesk.com. Otherwise, I hope everyone has a wonderful day. And again, if you have any questions, just shoot me an email.